Hey, I'm hosting a modded Minecraft Battle Royale in a few months. More information in the description. So, we're officially a week past Minecon 2023, and it would appear that the Armadillo is the certified winner of the 2023 mob vote. People have been saying around the internet that there were a massive amount of botted votes, not only for the Armadillo, but also for the other mobs. This is bearing a striking resemblance to a certain other vote that happened. My take on it is that I personally believe that there were a lot of botted votes, and that the crab probably would have won had there not have been. There has been actual evidence presented for this too, unlike the whole glow squid drama, and that evidence is actual legitimate programmer verified working code that could successfully bot votes to the voting servers through an exploit involving iOS devices. If you want more information, I suggest checking out the Mr. Epic's video on it. He does a great job of documenting and explaining the whole thing, so check that out if you're interested. On top of that, across the internet, with polls done by content creators or Reddit posts or anything in between, it seemed like almost every time that the crab came out on top. Then you have the fact that there were a record number of votes this year, just over 5 million, and at the same time there was a working botting script confirmed to have been used to bot votes. It just doesn't quite add up in my opinion. There's so many pieces of evidence that I just can't really say that I believe the winner is the real winner. That's just my opinion though. You're free to disagree with me and tell me why I'm wrong. That's what this country's all about, unless you live in a bad country, and in that case, praise for you. Now, this video isn't only a discussion on my thoughts about this year's mob vote. No, I want to talk about the mob vote as a whole. Mojang has been doing yearly votes during Minecon every year since 2017. They've done 5 mob votes and 2 biome votes. The first mob vote in 2017 pitted 4 mobs against each other, and from that, the Phantom ended up winning and coming to the game in the next update, 1.13, the update Aquatic. Funnily enough, the first mob vote ever also showed us just how flawed the mob vote was and would be for a while. When the Phantom was added, nobody actually liked it, not even the people who voted for it, which includes me, and to this day it remains one of the most hated features in Minecraft. Now, as a Phantom voter, I can tell you firsthand why we voted for this mob. Firstly, this little sketch was all we had to go off of in terms of appearance, which, by the way, was vastly different once it was actually added, but this has gotten better over the years. Then we got a very poor explanation of what it did, and the funniest reason of all time to vote for it, because, get this, there were currently no flying mobs in the overworld.
You should vote for Mob B, because there are currently no flying monsters in the overworld.
Yes, spoken words from Jeb himself. We weren't told any specifics, just vague ideas of how it would work. This meant that it was up to us to speculate and take the chance on the what ifs rather than the it wills. As if it couldn't get any worse, the Phantom won with only 3,619 votes in total, and the added stipulation that the losing mobs would be gone literally forever. All 3 of the other mobs were great ideas too, so that had to have been one of the worst decisions Mojang has ever made. This first vote would start a trend that wouldn't be solved until, in my personal opinion, this year's Minecon, with that issue being an extreme lack of communication on what the mob or biome brings to the table and what exactly happens to the losers. A big example I think of when it comes to this is the glare from 2021's mob vote. For the entire build up to Minecon, its only description was that it would essentially tell you where mobs could spawn by going to dark areas. Then, like 10 minutes before the vote closed during Minecon, they tacked on the feature that it would also light up areas. Why was this kept secret until then? It's not a major thing for the glare, but it would have lost anyway, but it seems like every single year they tell us something new about the mobs like 10 minutes before voting closes in their mob vote segment at Minecon. Now, according to Mojang, the winners are put on a backlog of sorts and will be added when they see fit. Okay, fair enough. You could just sprinkle them into a bland update and they would all slowly come, but also, you know, adding when it's right can make an update better as well. The only problem is that they don't add things when they're fit. Biggest example of this, 1.20, the Trails and Tales update. Aside from this literally just being the random shit update, this update really should have included the desert biome update. They added the camel to the desert, so now this was a perfect time to add the desert update from Minecon 2018, you know, 5 years ago, but no nope, the desert update was nowhere to be seen, even though it not only fits with the camels, but also would have made 1.20 about 10 times better because now a whole biome was updated alongside the cherry grove that was added. So when is it fit to add that update, Mojang? Why didn't you add that? More importantly, why do you only add the previous winners sometimes? Question: out of the 13 losers of votes from previous years, do you know how many times a loser has actually been added to the game? Once. Just one time. And it was the swamp update, which was added to 1.19, the wild update, which was really the mild update. But that's a whole thing for another video, and trust me, I have a lot to say on that. In short, I know that Mojang has limited resources to work on things, and I'm not trying to come out and attack the developers here because I understand that they just can't add everything at once, and on top of that, they need to bug test it and develop it for other versions and bug test that, and that's only if everything goes right on the first try, which in coding, it literally never does. That brings me to my biggest point. The mob vote doesn't really represent the community very well. You see, Minecraft has sold over 300 million copies at this point, and each and every single one of those copies is attached to an eligible vote. This year's mob vote had a record turnout of around 5 million votes total. That means that even at the highest turnout it ever had, only 1.6% of all eligible votes were cast. Now, you can rebuttal this argument by saying that there is a lot of people who have alts or own the game on multiple devices and accounts. And while yes, that is correct, and maybe a lot of those people didn't think to log on to each account and cast its vote, the most recent census told us that across August and September this year, Minecraft logged around 168 million active users. Now, that's nothing to scoff at in terms of player count, but in terms of votes cast, that still means that only 2.9% of all players who played in the last 60 or so days ended up voting, despite the fact that the vote was literally advertised on the Bedrock Edition title screen. But you know, the marketplace button is flashier, so that probably caught all the kids' attention. If only 2.9% of the entire active player base voted, that leaves 97.1% of players potentially getting features they didn't ask for or care for at all. This is why I speculate that previous mob vote winners always seem like the wrong choice after they get added. Not because they don't have anything worthwhile, but because practically the entire player base either doesn't even know that they exist or simply just doesn't care for it, therefore resulting in less things about them in general. There are some mobs that actually do deserve to get left in the dust though, like the Sniffer. I play a Minecraft world consistently, and I have not seen a Sniffer a single time since it was added because I have no reason to go and get one. It digs up 2 flowers that make dyes I can already get in much better and easier ways, and also they look ugly as hell. Seriously, why doesn't the torch flower emit light? It was literally the perfect idea for nicer looking bases that were free of torches and simply used flowers instead. I know this has turned into a very long rant, so I'm gonna try to wrap it up here. I want to state before I end this video that I don't hate the idea of having a vote to add features into Minecraft. It's really great that we as the community have a say in something that actually goes in the game. Poor execution of potentially amazing concepts on Mojang's part though are largely the reason why people hate the votes so much. They aren't scrapping ideas that lose, but it certainly feels like they are. Oh yeah, one more thing. It sometimes feels like Mojang has rigged the vote for a certain mob to win because for some reason the winning mob fit the next update theme a little too well, or was explained just much better in the reveal videos. Like, you can't tell me that it's not a little weird that the Sniffer, an ancient extinct mob whose eggs you have to find by searching beneath the surface, won the vote that paired it with the update that archaeology just so happened to also appear in. It's less extreme, but it still feels fishy. Anyways, I really gotta end this now or else I'll keep talking forever. So thank you all for watching, and remember, Battle Royale information is in the description below, and I'll see you in the next one, okay?